Hello everyone, it's Coach Kathy and welcome back to my channel. I'm also known as the bariatric cheerleader and I've lost 150 pounds and I'm here to help you meet and maintain your weight loss goals too. And welcome back to my studio, and instead of my normal business attire, I'm wearing a bathing suit top today. And that's for a reason. I don't normally just kind of walk around in bathing suit tops. I wanted to talk about something that I saw on my personal Facebook page, and it was just in the news feed, and it was two girls in identical bathing suits, one of them being severely overweight and one of them borderline underweight. It really brought up some emotions in me. It brought up some dialogue amongst friends of mine, and I shared it in my Facebook group, also called the Bariatric Cheerleader, and I just think it's something we need to talk about. So here's the thing, guys. I've been both of those girls. Granted, I haven't really been underweight, but my BMI right now is like 20. It's perfect, but if I lost even 10 more pounds, I would be considered underweight. So I know what it's like to be both of those girls in that picture. I know what it feels like to be in a bathing suit as both of those girls in that picture. And for 25 years of my life, I was the very overweight girl in that picture. And it's only been for a short amount of time in my life, in high school and then in about the last year and a half, that I've been the other girl in the picture. But that doesn't mean I didn't experience lots of things during those times. Unfortunately, I've come to realize that people are going to treat you very, very differently based on your physical appearance. And sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's not, but it's absolutely unmistakable. And so here are some things that I've learned on my journey of losing 150 pounds, having skin removal surgery, and drastically changing how my body looks. So this is what I noticed. I'm calling these like observations of when I was fat. If the word fat bothers you, I'm sorry, but I guess after being morbidly obese for 25 years, I'm still comfortable with using that word and referring to myself that way. But if it's a trigger word for you, apologies in advance, but it's just faster to say fat than morbidly obese, but tomato, tomato. So here's the thing. When I was fat, morbidly obese, and even when I was overweight, most men completely ignored me. I could be in a hardware store trying to get something off of a top shelf or struggling to get something into my cart or whatever. It didn't matter. People would walk right by. Nobody would stop to help me, least of all a man. If someone did stop, it was probably a woman. Another interesting thing is nobody worried about their husbands around me or their significant others around me. I was never seen as a threat by any member of the opposite sex because of my size. It didn't matter how funny I was. It didn't matter how smart I was. It didn't matter how pretty of a face I had, because trust me, when you're overweight, you get told that a lot. None of that mattered because I was overweight, apparently. So, it was just kind of interesting to make that observation, because the opposite has absolutely been very true since. Nobody commented about my weight at all, really, unless a fat joke was being told around me. And then it would be like, oh, well, no offense. And I'd think like, well, I didn't take offense until you said that. But, nobody was concerned for me. Nobody was worried about my weight, or nobody would say, maybe we should do something about this, or do you think you've gained enough? Because guess what? I've been told a lot. Do you think you've lost enough? But oddly enough, when I was pushing almost 300 pounds and had a host of obesity-related diseases, not one person said, do you think we need to talk about how much you're gaining? If my weight was ever brought up, it was me who would do it, usually in the form of a joke. And it would immediately be followed with, oh, but Kathy, you're so pretty. Oh, but Kathy, you have such a nice smile. Oh, Kathy, you have such nice skin. Or just, yeah, you're not that big. I don't know how many times I heard that. You're not that big. And so my appearance made people uncomfortable, and if I addressed it, it absolutely made people uncomfortable. And so the first thing people want to do is make you feel better, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, as we'll talk about in a minute, on the flip side, those things just don't happen. One thing that I noticed a lot, and I just thought it was because I was a nice person. Women went out of their way to be so nice to me. I never received more compliments on my hair, on my nails, on my makeup, on my jewelry, on my outfit, on my personality, on my intelligence. I got compliments thrown at me when I was a much bigger person than I am right now. And oddly enough, when I was morbidly obese, I didn't have one single person say, are you going to leave your husband now? Now that you're morbidly obese, how's your marriage? What does your husband think about you being morbidly obese? What's going to happen now that you're morbidly obese? Nobody ever said that when I was overweight. So let's go to the flip side and let's listen to a list of observances I've made after losing 150 pounds. Male attention is through the roof. And I'm talking strangers, people from high school, people I've known for years. It's very, very different. And it actually kind of makes me mad that people think that they have the right to say really gross things in inboxes or even to my face that wouldn't even have looked at me 150 pounds ago. I didn't change. My personality didn't change. My intelligence didn't change. My funniness didn't change. My kindness didn't change. The only thing that changed was my physical appearance. And that's the only reason why that certain sect of people are all of a sudden wanting my attention. And that is gross. Oddly enough, now that I'm not morbidly obese anymore, people have come out of the woodworks to say, oh, we were really worried about you. Thank goodness you're not that big anymore. Well, I didn't want to say anything, but I was so worried you were going to have a heart attack, or I was so worried you were going to get diabetes only having one kidney. People came just flooding out of the gates to tell me how glad that they were that I wasn't fat anymore. Absolutely, men go out of their way to open doors, get things off shelves. If I'm even walking through a hardware store, I get asked if I need help, even if I'm clearly not needing help. It's almost like it's a conversation starter or something, but I'm still not used to it. It's weird. I guess I just was used to being in my own little fat bubble for so long that when that bubble bursts and you're out of it, and all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if it's 19-year-olds or 99-year-olds. It just seems like that attention is there and it's constant. And I don't mean to sound conceited when I say this. I don't mean to sound, I don't know. It's just odd, and I can't experience it and not share that. That's what I do with this channel, is I give you the good, the bad, the ugly, the very real, and that is something that is hugely real and super noticeable now. It doesn't even matter if my husband's with me. It just seems like there's nothing's off limits as far as like making little innuendos or staring way too long or being inappropriate sometimes. That just didn't happen when I was morbidly obese. And I, even now at almost 46 years old, and, I can see a ton of flaws in myself, but it doesn't matter. It just seems to be something about the size of a body that determines the attention you're going to get. Also, now that I'm not morbidly obese, I do get asked all the time when I'm done. Haven't you lost enough? What weight are you trying to get to? When are you done? Okay, well, I haven't lost weight for almost a year. My weight has been extremely stable. I haven't changed at all, but for some reason, people still just aren't used to seeing this new body. And I get comments all the time. Like, people must think I'm just doing everything I can to lose another 5 pounds or something. And the opposite's actually true. Like, I'd actually like to gain some weight and gain some muscle, and I'm working on that. That takes a lot of time. It's not easy to gain muscle specifically and to gain muscle weight. So, but if I don't change a single pound from how I am right now, I'm completely healthy, I'm completely happy, I'm hitting all of the targets that my physicians have set out for me. This is the best thing for my MS. This is the best thing to prevent diabetes and heart disease, which I have huge risk factors of. It's the best thing for having one kidney, and it's absolutely the best thing for my multiple sclerosis moving forward. So it's just interesting that all of a sudden people have this huge interest in my health now that I'm thin. And it's the thinness that concerns them, when ironically, the obesity, which has 4 immediate cancers directly related to it and a host of secondary and tertiary diseases, that didn't bother them. So it's interesting. I think the thing that breaks my heart the most is that I can't say it's like individual women who are doing this, but it's just women in general. Now, you're not nice anymore. I don't get complimented on my skin, my jewelry, my hair, my clothing, my intellect. All those compliments that were so lovely and would make you really feel good when you were having a bad day. And it's not that I need to be verbally built up, but when something like that happens repeatedly for 25 years and then it just stops, and in fact then the opposite happens, you do notice, so this is just me again sharing observations, and it really makes me sad that, I have women scowl at me, like turn their lip up, or will like grab their husband's arm and like move him away, and I'm just trying to get groceries, and I just am not used to that. And I still smile, I still treat everybody with kindness. Yeah, the compliments are gone, the niceness are gone, and how sad, because my body changed. Men got nicer and women got meaner. That's really something as a society we need to work on. And that's exactly what that photo with the two ladies in the bikini was all about. And finally, it is disappointing that I get asked all the time now, what does Chris think? Oh my gosh, what does your husband think? Like, oh, he must just love you now because you've got this tiny little body. And oh, he must be having so much fun with you. Well, nice of you to assume that he didn't love my body before. Nice of you to assume that we didn't have fun before. I have a great marriage. I had a great marriage before losing 150 pounds, and I have a great marriage now. And I am absolutely blessed with a husband who's made me feel beautiful this entire time. But having said that, it's kind of weird and maybe a little disturbing that people think they have the right to speak about your sex life or your relationship with your spouse just because my body's different. Again, I didn't change. I'm still the same Kathy. If you know me, I still have the same, crazy wit and humor. And, I didn't change except for my body. The inside didn't change. And that is who and what my husband fell in love with. And that's what the basis of our marriage is found on. And so for people to just assume that things must be so much more amazing now and they must have been so terrible before because I was so big, that's insulting. And I think overall the thing that's super frustrating is I've been everything from when I started as a size 24 to now basically a size 2, sometimes 4. And every single size in between on the way down. I've yet to be a size that didn't get commented on, that didn't get an observation made, or that everybody was okay with. There's never been a universal Kathy size that's been enough to have people stop talking or to just, not talk at all. No comments. There hasn't been a size from 24 to 2 that people haven't felt the need to comment on it somehow. And even if they didn't do it to my face at a 24, it absolutely was happening behind my back. Or maybe when I got to a 6, they're saying, thank God you're not a 24 anymore. So even if it's retroactively happening, it still happened. So my takeaway for you today is be very, very conscious about what you say to someone else about their body. For the better, for the worse, try to be better about the words that come out of your mouth. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this either. I absolutely have made observations about other people's bodies in my life. I'm, like I said, almost 46 years old. I have learned that I needed to do better about this too. Very few people have the perspective that I have, and it's very eye-opening. And I just want everybody to be more aware of what that feels like to the person on the other end. And so if you're just beginning your weight loss journey, I want you to be prepared. People are going to treat you differently. People are going to speak about you differently. People are going to look at you differently. And people are going to say things to you that they never would have said before. There isn't enough preparation on the planet that can prepare you for what this experience is like. And that's why I'm here sharing these things, because I needed a Kathy when I was going through these things. I didn't have a ton of bariatric support starting out this journey. I knew like 2 people that had had it and that would even be willing to talk to me about it. And so I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. And so if that's you and you're feeling alone, keep coming back to this channel. Hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss videos like this, because I don't hide anything. I tell it like it is. Like I said, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs. Bariatric journey is a wild ride. Even losing weight, regardless of whether you've had bariatric surgery or not, it absolutely affects every single relationship in your life, and we aren't talking about this enough. So this summer when you're at the beach, if you see the girl on the right that you think is a little too big to be wearing a bathing suit, maybe you need to ask yourself why that bothers you so much and what the heck that even has to do with you at all. Nobody's making you look at her. If she's happy and she's confident, you go, girl. And absolutely the same goes for that small girl. Do not assume because somebody is smaller that they're confident, that their life is perfect, that they have everything all figured out, and that they are just happy to be out strutting in a bikini. There's not very many confident women on this planet, and very few again that are confident in a bathing suit. So maybe just smile at her. Maybe tell her, hope she has a nice day or something. Don't scowl at her. Don't grab your husband and guide him to the other side of the beach, or just don't say anything, but put a smile on your face. There's no need of our kindness or lack thereof happening solely because of a stranger's looks. We need to do better. We can do better. And let's make the agreement today to do just that. So we'll see you next time. Bye.